Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the People Person podcast presented by Good Time Media. I'm your host, Wyatt Metzger, as always. And today I'm joined by Marcy Creevy. How you doing today, Marcy? Thanks for coming on.
Hi, I'm good. I'm great. I'm happy to be here and I'm excited.
Now, I didn't know, I'm kind of excited for this because I genuinely don't know anything about you. So how I came across, I saw you on, I saw you on Barstool Idol, like in the summer. Didn't think anything of
Okay.
it. No, not in that sense, but just like kind of forgot about it. And then I saw you on my For You page, like I want to say a couple days ago, maybe like a week or two ago. And I was like, you know what? Let's see if she'll come on. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. But I'm excited because this is kind of a blank slate. I just get to know who you are. Now, I don't want to refer to you as a TikToker because that feels rude. Do you accept that term? Are you anti that term? What would you describe just like your life?
I don't even know what I would describe myself as. A lot of people say well, when people see me, like around school or campus, they're like, "Oh, you're that TikToker." So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm used to the TikToker, them saying that, but I don't know. I feel like I guess you could call me like an influencer. I don't know. I don't even
Yeah.
think of myself as like a person that has this huge following. So it's just weird. I
There's
don't know.
not a good term for it at all. Like there's
No,
like
there
a
really is.
because like you can be on TikTok, make TikToks, but like that's just the platform where you make the stuff. So you're not like
Right.
TikToker. Like it's not like you're doing the dances, you're doing all that stuff. You're not doing you're just making
Yeah.
content on TikTok. It's tough. It's a tough line to follow. So then a question for you is, given that it's Thanksgiving break, you're back home. Let's say Thanksgiving you go out, it's like with your family. Crazy uncle who you only talk to once a year is like, "Hey, what's going on? What's life like for you?" How do you answer that question?
Oh, good question. I only talk to him once a year, so I I would probably I don't know. I mean, life's so good right now and like I don't even take social media as seriously as, some people think I do. It's kind of like, oh, like, people will be like, "Oh, do you get sick of like doing TikTok or Instagram?" And like, no, I really don't cuz like I said, like I don't think of myself as like a TikToker. It's more I just do it for fun and like videos blow up, cool. If they don't,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't care. So it's like stuff like that. But I mean, life right now, like I said, it's good. I'm full-time college student at Michigan State. Yeah, classes are good. Right now I'm helping run Barstool MSU, so I think that that's kind of
Gotcha.
like it's kind of like an internship in itself. It's a lot of work. I mean, we got to like make posts, multiple posts a
Yeah.
day, get merch out, stuff like that. And then, weekends, party, have fun. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't have much to complain about. So,
Exactly. Is that what you want to do long term? What's like the long term, like 5 years from now, ideal world, everything works out beautifully as it does in life. Where are you at?
So the dream is to be a sports reporter on specifically basketball, hopefully college basketball. I mean, nothing against professional sports. I just really like college
Mhm.
sports because it's like I feel it's not that professional is like unauthentic. I just think that college sports are like kind of more raw because it's like I like to follow like the whole recruiting process and like how these kids get recruited, who they choose from, and then how they perform at their college. Whereas NBA, it's kind of just like that's the end goal. So I feel
Yeah.
like college is kind of cool. That kind of like that stepping stone and the professional sports. So yeah, I'm hoping to report on college basketball one day, and we'll see how that goes. So
And do you see yourself in more of like a formal, like network type gig or like very kind of informal, unpolished, just like kind of talk your shit type thing on college basketball? Which kind of direction? Because I feel like the formal, like, want to work for ESPN kind of model is not as enticing to people like younger people these days. It's more like I
yeah.
want to have a podcast, do my informal stuff, and just kind of talk normally. And I think people are gravitating towards that. Is that the route you see yourself going? Or do you want like polished on camera type
Yeah,
gig?
no, it's definitely like when I see myself, I want to do like maybe hopefully work a few years at Barstool, do the podcast thing, get on different podcasts, just, talk shit about sports, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I get older and become more polished, then I want to kind of step into that role of
Hmm.
like, professional ESPN, whatever. Because I think that I should have that time when I'm young to like just talk about whatever I want to, Like, I don't want to go right out of college and be like professional. Like, here we go. I think it's fun that I could hopefully get the opportunity to do like a podcast or something like at Barstool, and do stuff like that. So,
Growing up, were you always like a sports head? Were you just like sports, or did you go through like this typical like middle school girl phase where like no sports? Because I feel like that's a give, like that happens to a lot of people. Or is it always sports?
no, that does happen to a lot of people. No, it was always sports. The phase that I went through in middle school was like, I'm only gonna wear sweatpants and never look nice, and I'm gonna go play the boys in basketball after lunch. Like that was my phase, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the WNBA, and I'm like 5 foot nothing, so no, I'm not going to the WNBA. So that was my middle school phase that I had. But growing up, I grew up with all girls, and like all my cousins are girls, like
Mhm.
big girl family. But then my dad and I kind of always connected on like watching basketball, watching football, and then, obviously March Madness comes around. My dad and I would like set up the whole living room with a bunch of TVs. And, when I did that one year with my dad, when I think I was in like sixth or seventh grade, I like stayed home from school one day and we just watched that. Yeah. And
That's a good parent. If he lets you skip that Thursday, Friday, those are the two best and worst
yeah,
days of the year, because there's a 3-hour period where you're still in school, but games are happening. So you go to the bathroom like 6 times a class and watch on your phone. Yeah.
yeah.
Or like in class. So if your dad let you skip, that's good on him, because that should be a national holiday. I'm fully on board with that. Those days should be off school. Those are the best 2 days of the year by
Yeah,
far.
national holiday.
Yeah,
100%.
it's better than Super Bowl. It's better than anything. That first round of the NCAA tournament, national holiday, best days of the year. When did the TikTok stuff start? Was that a quarantine thing where it's like, I'm bored, I want to start posting a bunch on TikTok? Yeah,
Hmm.
that always
People
happens.
are always,
Everyone,
yep.
everyone had that phase. That's what I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at where you're at now. I mean, like when you
Yeah,
went up,
living with my parents in a studio in my old brother's room. Look at me now. Look at
you have
me
a
now.
podcast. I mean, I looked at your stuff. You're doing good.
Thanks.
But no, yeah, that was definitely a COVID thing. And yeah, people always ask me like, "How'd you get started with TikTok?" I'm like, "Well, I got bored in the pandemic. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even have TikTok for a while. Like, I was like, oh, I'm not getting it. Like,
Yeah.
waste of time." And then, quarantine hit, and I was like, "Okay, I'm bored out of my mind. Like, what am I gonna do?" So then I just started making videos. Like, it started off with just like basketball, like trick shot videos. I was like just
Dude,
doing whatever.
perfect.
And then,
Yeah.
basically. And then I just kind of started to get on TikTok myself more and like see like funny videos that other people were putting out. And I was like, might as well try it. Like, I have all the time in the world. So I just started doing that. And yeah, stuff blew up. And then kind of as I transitioned into college, it turned into more of like lifestyle videos, like vlogs, day in the life, like advice, funny stories, partying, whatever. So it kind of just has followed me, kind of through my journey, I
Mhm.
guess you could say.
Yeah.
So.
What was the first moment where it was like maybe outside of COVID quarantine type stuff where like someone either recognized you or like oh shit moment, like this is like actually like a path I can go down and I can use this platform? And when did it break out of just being you and your friends making videos?
Yeah, I think that, well, I think it was August of 2020. So COVID was kind of starting to
Mhm.
slow down. It was like summer, and um one of the news stations in Grand Rapids, which is like a big, I don't know if you've heard of Grand
Yeah,
Rapids,
I
but
played
it's
tennis up there a bunch. I had a bunch of tennis
okay,
tournaments there. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know Grand
So
Rapids.
yeah, their news station reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, we want to do a feature on you and your TikTok." Like, because this was at the time frame of like when Trump was gonna like ban TikTok or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so they're like, "We just want to interview you because like we see you have a following, and like want to ask you like what would you do without TikTok, whatever." And I was kind of like, "Oh shit, like the news station, like what?"
Yeah.
And sure enough, I just did it. Like, I don't know, and it was fun. And then I freaking turned on the news at 6 and there I am. And so that was kind of, I think, the moment when I was like, huh, like this is kind of more than just, like you said, like making fun videos with my friends.
Yeah.
So
It's funny how that stuff works too, because you could post a TikTok, it get 1 million views, and then you do a little thing on like local television that's not getting 1 million views, but it
no,
feels way bigger. It feels like
right.
this is my moment, like local news, like I made it. And then you get TikTok, it gets a million views, like, oh, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be the same way. If I was on local TV, I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. Even though if I have a TikTok that has millions and millions of views, it just
Right.
feels so weird because I feel like we still kind of grew up. Like, I'm 20. How old are you?
19.
Okay, so you're a little young. I'm 23, just out of college. But I feel like we kind of grew up in the age where like local TV is what you had for at least a little bit until we got
Right.
our phones in like fourth grade. But like local TV was it. That's so like if you're on local TV, I think kids nowadays, like young middle schoolers right now, they don't care if they're on local TV at all. They don't want to be there in
No.
any capacity. So it is funny how that like we still have that mindset of like local TV is the moment you made it.
It's so cool.
Have you moved into getting like hate comments yet? What that's always I feel like a moment of like, oh, I made it. That was for me. I was like, this is cool. When I'm starting getting hate, do you have something that like people comment that you've gotten maybe a few times? Like, it drives me crazy, but like you kind of love it because I love hate comments.
No, I do too. I think
Yeah.
it's funny. My mom is like mama bear. Like she sees one hate comment and she will like comment back. I'm like, Mom, like it's funny. Like, up. Like she's like, I'm gonna block him. I'm gonna report him. I'm like, stop. Like it's. I think it's funny, but I
Yeah.
really like people ask me that. They're like, do you get hate? And I really don't. Like, I think it's because I don't ever post really controversial stuff. So it's like, well, what am I gonna get hate on? And if people do, it's like, oh, like your glasses look weird or like something stupid like that. It's
Yeah,
not like,
it's always looks, and it's always a cheap shot, and it's that they always get me all
oh
the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
I got one last week that stuck with me. Someone commented. People always comment. I have a bunch of doppelgangers apparently, so I look like Cameron Fry from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
my favorite movie ever. And when I joined the Zoom call, I was like,
So I did those TikToks for a little bit, but then it just got so old. And funny story there, I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before. His actual son reached out to me, and he DM'd me and he was like, "Hey man, like, how do you look more like my dad than I do?" I was like, "Dude, I don't know." And at that point, I was like, I should probably stop this because people were getting mad at him, thinking he was impersonating me.
oh my
It
gosh.
got bad. It got real bad. But anyways, long story short, I got a comment last week that stuck with me. It said I look like Glenn Powell before he got hot. Do you know who Glenn Powell is?
Yeah,
Yeah. That one stuck
that's
with me.
funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was kind of
But yeah,
mean.
I see. Yeah, I apologize for saying
You were
it's
about to
funny,
say
but
you see it too.
no.
You were about to say it. You could run the clip back. You were about to say that's fair. It's mean because it's true. I'll say that.
Yeah.
There's some truth. If it wasn't somewhat true, it wouldn't get to me. But that one stuck with me for a little bit. No, I'm not gonna lie. And then
Some
people,
people.
yeah, the nerve of people, and it was creative. So I was like, it's kind of funny
Right. I
as
was
long
just
as
gonna
they're
say that
fun. Yeah,
people can come up with. I'm like, damn, like low-key good for you for coming up with
yeah.
that.
But then I get the people who just comment like the Easter Island statue emoji. That one, that's not creative. That's
Yeah.
I get that one a lot.
Do you?
So it's tough. It's a tough world out there. I was just wondering. So apparently, you just don't get any hate. Maybe it's just me.
Okay.
Must
No,
be
it
nice.
is a blessing, but kinda I will say, like, on Twitter, because I love Twitter, like, I will be the instigator, like, I will be the
Mm,
one that's like, "Let's start some shit," like,
yeah.
especially if it's on a topic that I can, talk my shit, like,
Yeah.
I'll start it, and Twitter, it's so funny because you can look at, like, my analytics and, like, Twitter or TikTok, it's, like, 70% of my following's female, and then, like, my Twitter following,
Really?
yeah, it's like
Huh.
90% are men on Twitter because it's like Twitter, I talk about like basketball, politics, whatever,
Yeah. Huh.
So I just think it's funny. It's gonna,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh no, it's fun to be in the trenches sometimes, just to like start shit and just like
yeah.
try to find your way out of it. No, it's fun. I enjoy that. Is there I would say outside of athletes, is there a celebrity where you're like, I want to do something with them? I want to meet them. Who's your dream celebrity to meet? If not an athlete though, since you're a sports girl, not an athlete.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Erin Andrews. I just always have. I mean,
That's
she
kind of a cop. That's as close to an athlete as you can get. But okay,
does
I'll allow it. Aaron Andrews.
Erin Andrews. Okay, I'm trying to think of a different person that like I look up to as a celebrity that I haven't met because
Who have you met?
okay, well, Brianna Chicken Fry, you know her
Yeah.
from
Okay.
basketball. So I met her. Um, and then she had this party thing at Michigan State. So like I met her and I just like her and I met her and Grace O'Malley because
Hmm.
like they're just so authentic and real and just funny as shit. So like
Yeah.
that's why I've always kind of looked up to them in that way. But like I said, like I met them. And then I'm trying to think like I don't know, I love Tom Izzo, met him though, because like he's our basketball coach, but no, definitely okay, I'm gonna stick with my answer, Aaron Andrews.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I was testing you. You stuck to your guns. I can appreciate that. But no. Wait, so I want to get into Barstool Idol stuff here in a second, but along those lines, so you met Bree and Grace there. Did you, by chance, the odds are probably slim, I don't think he was there at the time. Did you meet Chris Castellani at any point?
Okay, this
Do
is
you know
funny.
Chris?
Yeah, I've
I
met
love
him
Chris.
like
He's been on the
5 times.
podcast before. He's the best. I love him.
Really? Oh,
He's the
he is
best.
awesome. No, he's great. I just saw him, Friday, actually, so a few days ago.
No way.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, he's a great
He's
guy.
he's a good dude. I will root for that dude no matter what,
Uh-huh.
because he came on, I want to say in like January or something, and just you just talk. He's such a good dude, such a one of the most genuine people ever. And I met him for like an hour and a half, and I was like, I love this dude. I will always root for this guy. Super cool dude. All right, so we'll get into the Barstool Idol stuff. Obviously you can see all the stuff like on their YouTube channels of like the actual stuff you did there, but I want to know like behind the scenes logistic type stuff. How did you first apply? How'd you get on? Like, what was that process like leading up to it?
Yeah, so it was funny because I saw, the application process or, like, the application go out. I was home for Christmas break, just bored out of my mind, like, I love college, I love, like, being with friends, people partying, all that stuff, and I was just home, so
Mhm.
bored, and so I'm just scrolling through my Instagram stories, and I see, like, Barstool Sports posted this thing, they were like, we're looking for Barstool's next biggest thing, Barstool Idol, like apply now. And I just kept scrolling because I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, good for Barstool, whatever. And at this point, I had no affiliation with Barstool, like whatsoever. I wasn't
Mhm.
even running Barstool MSU, like nothing. And then the next day, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna apply. Like, I'll just do it for fun, expecting nothing out of it. In the application process, it was like we had to send in like a 3-minute video and then like some essay questions and stuff like that. And I literally recorded the video once, like I didn't like brainstorm what to say, like
Yeah.
nothing. I just recorded it once, took me 3 minutes, and then I like filled out some essay questions. The essay questions were like, do you listen to any other podcasts besides Barstool? Like, what's your favorite movie? Why do you think that you would be a good fit at Barstool? Stuff like that. Um, and so I sent in that application and like I said, did not expect to hear anything back. Like I did it quick, like for fun. And then 3 months later, I think it was like March about, I was like at the gym. I just checked my email and at this point I had deleted the video like off my computer, like
Yeah.
up storage, like
Yeah.
whatever. I was like, nothing is gonna come out of it. And then sure enough, I get this email and it's from a lady at Barstool. She was like, hey, like we got your application. We want to have you out in New York City in June. And I was like, what? Like just completely shocked out of my
Yeah.
mind. Had no idea that it was actually going to happen. And so I think within kind of that same week, I met with that lady over Zoom and she kind of gave me the rundown. And I think, yeah, that same week I like booked my flights and hotel and I was like, I'm doing it. So
So
that's kind of how I got.
had you ever been to New York before?
I had like in fifth grade.
So not really.
Yeah, really, not
Yeah,
really.
not really. You got a full New York. What was so are I don't know where I want to go with this. New York compared to like where you grew up. Big difference?
Okay. Yeah, huge. Like
Huge? Okay.
I live huge. I live in, like, the middle of a field.
Okay.
And my high school's, like there's a barn, there's a farm by the high school, like, I think the only store we have in my hometown is, like, a family fair, which is a super small supermarket, so yeah, huge
Huge.
difference.
Okay. What was were you were you like lit like the hotel room? Are you with other people who are gonna be on this, the other Barstool Idol contestants? Did they set you up like real close? Was there any like issues just like logistically getting out there, staying out there, being there for however long you were?
Yeah, I think they didn't set us up all in the same place, we were on our own to kind of find
Okay.
our, hotel, transportation, stuff like that. I think that kind of the big setback not setback, but, like, bump in the road was like I paid for it all on my own, and obviously, like staying in New York isn't cheap. So like when
Yeah,
I had to
that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, that could be
flight,
tough.
like it was a lot, but I just kept telling myself, I'm like, this opportunity can open doors. I'm not gonna let, a couple thousand on flight hotel to like let me pass up this
Yeah.
opportunity. So yeah.
Um, what was the, so you weren't too involved with Barstool beforehand. So
Mm-mm.
when you came in, you weren't like, I'm sure there's some like Barstool super fans who got there and were like freaking out. Were you a little bit like, I don't really know what's going on? So like maybe it was easier for you to just like be comfortable because you're like, I don't really know what's happening right now.
Right. No, there was definitely people. There was like a few people from Barstool. Like I've always been a big fan of Tommy Smokes. I've obviously always known Dave because it's Dave
Yeah.
Portnoy who doesn't know him, and then Big Cat I always liked. But I knew a lot of like the big names. I never really knew of kind of like the smaller people that did podcast stuff like that. But it's funny you ask that because I think that there was more people on Barstool Idol that weren't as affiliated with Barstool, like as compared to people that were like super fans of
Yeah.
Barstool. Like I think what do I want to say? There was 10 or 12 of us. I think that like 7 or 8 of them didn't know anyone from Barstool, like before going in,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy because you'd think that like everyone going in is like super fans, but really it was kind of like some people had no idea about Barstool and some people were like, oh, I know this person, this person, this person, like
Yeah.
everyone.
I'm sure that was probably a conscious decision on their part too, the people who chose, because they probably want someone fresh, new, who's like not gonna just try to be something that Barstool would want. They want to bring in someone new and fresh. So that kind of makes sense. That's cool. They kind of like, all right, you're going in fresh. Kind of ignorance is bliss. Like I don't know how big this platform is or how big this podcast is or these guys are. I'm just like kind of here along for the ride, which probably helped you.
Yeah.
Was
And
anyone?
nerves
Sorry.
too, because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like this is a huge celebrity, like, and it wasn't like that for me because I wasn't like this huge super fan. And people were always like, oh, like if you were to have to pitch your presentation in front of Dave Portnoy, were you going to be nervous? And I was like, honestly, no, because obviously I know who he is. He's a big celebrity, but it's not like for years and years and years I've been like this huge Dave Portnoy fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm comfortable kind of doing whatever. So yeah.
Was anyone there either you didn't know going in, you met like super like who stood out to you when you left? Like, oh, that person was really cool or way different than maybe I thought. Anyone like
Yeah.
that?
Um, I think Caroline, so the girl that
Hmm.
won it, it's funny because the first day that I got like we all got there, me and Caroline just like clicked right away. Like we literally within the first 5 minutes of meeting each other, we're like, we're gonna make a podcast together. We're gonna call it the Lovable Villains. That's literally like we like had this all planned out, like took pictures together. Like so her and I were kind of like together a lot throughout that
Hmm.
whole week, and she's just such a great person, so I
Yeah.
think that we really clicked, but honestly, everyone that I was left with, so the day I got eliminated, like, everyone that I was still there with, like, it was really hard to leave them all, like, that's what I always
Hmm.
tell people when they were like, "Are you sad you got eliminated?" I'm like, "No," like, at that point, I was, like, 18 years old, I'm like, "I have my whole life ahead of me,
Yeah.
I can go back to college, and still do all that stuff," but the hardest thing was, like, leaving all those people that I made relationships with, and I still keep in contact to them, like, on a weekly basis, like,
Hmm. That's
yeah.
cool. What's one thing you left just being in that environment did you take away like to help you, whether it's just like with creating content, that kind of mindset, whatever it is, what was your takeaway? Like, oh, I can do this differently, I can do this better. Like just kind of what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, honestly, out of all of it, like, I felt the need to be more authentic with my content, like, and just to be myself, and it's okay to mess up, to talk about whatever you want. I've definitely felt more comfortable, sharing stories about literally whatever I want because
Hmm.
there it was kind of like they don't give a shit about anything and like they will shit talk and do whatever and I like admire that because it's kind of like I feel like you see a lot of people making content and it's like it's not really real and raw. And so
Hmm.
I think that walking away from that experience, I was kind of like, like it's okay to talk about whatever you want and just be real because people appreciate that and enjoy that. So
Yeah. It's always like, I feel like almost everyone who's posting stuff on the internet is like 80% real, authentic, genuine, but it's that last 20% that really makes the difference, where it's like, oh, this person's like being real themselves. Because there's people always want to hide small little corners of themselves they don't want people to see. And that's like 20% they just kind of keep hidden, which like it's really hard to do. Like not everyone wants to cross. Once you cross that line, you can't really go back. But I'm sure it's so freeing. And like I've kind of realized that I do a lot of live stuff, like live shows every day. At that point, once you do it long enough, you forget you're talking to people and it's just like yourself. You have no choice. But like that's a really hard line. It takes a while to cross that line. Like, all right, screw it. I'm 100% me. I don't care what you think anymore. Because you're always gonna care what people think, but it's whether you let it affect your content or not. I think that's the big difference.
100%. Yeah.
I have a few takes that I've argued with people the last couple of days. I want to get your opinion on. One big one, which I think you can really help me here. My producer for my live show, he argues that Trevor Lawrence is hotter than Jalen Hurts. That's absurd, right? Jalen Hurts is way hotter, correct?
Yeah, I'm not into Trevor's whole like the hair. I don't
Thank
think
you. Thank you.
That's not my thing.
He's like, if I was a girl and I saw Trevor Lawrence at a bar and I didn't know he was a professional quarterback, there would be zero interest there. None.
Nope.
And it's no offense to him. I'm not saying he's a bad looking dude, but Jalen Hurts is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about this? Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow?
Okay. Funny you say that because I was gonna interrupt you and be like, okay, let's talk about Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Though.
So Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. And I like Joe Burrow's like swag. Like if that's the word you want to connect to him, like I don't know. I just think like when I think of Joe Burrow, I always think of like the pic with the cigar after like your championship. Yeah.
Anyone would look cool in that situation though. If I just won a national championship, I'm still in my pads, a little sweaty, and I get a cigar, cross my leg and sit like that, I'm going to look like a 10 out of 10, no matter what. I don't care who you are. You're going to look awesome. So like, I'll push back a little bit on that. Like anyone will look good in that situation.
But not anyone can win a national championship, and he did.
True. So his athletic ability adds to that. I'll give him that. But just, yeah, as long as that's cleared up that Trevor Lawrence I don't understand the Trevor Lawrence attraction whatsoever. We got heat. Like we were screaming at each other for like 30 minutes. I was blown away.
There's rumors that like he like cheats on his wife.
He told. I heard that too. That's crazy. How it for like I don't know how does that get out? And like
I don't know.
And who starts that? I don't know. Even if it's not true, whatever. All right, I'm gonna have you help me define some words here. These are three basically synonyms of each other, but I think they mean very different things. So it's cute, hot, and attractive. What's the difference between the three? And what's the best one? Like if you're gonna call someone a guy you just met, you're gonna tell your friends about him. Which one do you want? Like, what's the best one for you to use?
Okay. I would use attractive in that sense because when I think of attractive, I think it's like you're attracted to them not only physically, but also like you're attracted to them as a person and like
yes,
that like when I think about someone that I'm attracted to, it's like I want to be in the same room as them, because like you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that. Do you agree with this? I would argue cute is personality, hot is just physical looks, attractive is both.
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
Because I've also argued that cute is an insult. If someone called me cute, I was like,
no, like when I talk to a guy, I don't mean to sound like a hoe here, not trying to rat myself out. But if I'm trying to flirt with them, I'm not going to be like, oh, you look so cute.
Yeah, I would hate that. Would be the worst thing of all time.
But if it's like my guy friend, I'll be like, oh, cute. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, what shirt should I pick? I'm like, oh, that one's cute on you. Like, But good. No, if I'm trying to riz with a guy, I'm gonna be like attractive or like.
That's a first. No one's ever dropped a riz on this show ever. So that's a first. Congratulations. You did it. Finally, you took.
I did it.
Took our riz card. That's the first time. There we go. I coach high school tennis, and my kids started commenting on my TikToks, like all my students, and I didn't know what it meant at first. That's how old I felt. They were commenting like they were like Riz W. I was like, I don't know what is happening. I feel like an old man. I'm 23 years old. I am not old. And I did not understand. It was like a month ago. I was like, what? And I asked my private, I was like, guys, what does this mean? Like, what is this? And then I don't even understand their explanation of it. But it was kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's a fun little term.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up.
Oh yeah.
Two more questions for you. This is actually related to one of the TikToks that you've posted. Are you anti happy birthday text to an ex?
It depends on the ex, I think. I'm anti receiving it if it's like I have bad tension with the ex,
Okay.
but I mean, most of my exes haven't texted me a happy birthday. I mean, one of them did because it's like we are on great terms, but like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm anti, but I definitely think that it depends on who's sending it because it can be like happy birthday, hope you have a great day, and then it's like thanks, and then it's like by the way, how are you doing? And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, like are you trying
That's why you texted me. Yeah. It's like if it's
like,
if it's trying to lead to something more, it's like, what are we doing here? Don't do that.
yeah.
I agree.
Happy birthday, thank you, and that's it. I'm like, okay, maybe they're actually just, trying to say happy birthday.
Thank you. You're backing up all my points here because I've been getting a lot of pushback on that one. I said it depends on the situation. And if it's just like, hey, happy birthday, hope you're doing well, that's it. I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I got so much flack for that. I was like, what are we talking about here, guys? It's just be nice, be a cordial human being. You don't have to hate everyone.
And it's like if you spent this much time with your ex, you dated them, it's okay to reach out and say happy birthday. Like
Yeah,
it's not like you cut off everything, but it's like I said, like if they're trying to be like, how are you? Like, what are you doing? What are you like? It's like,
exactly.
know,
100%. Last kind of hypothetical here. What would you rather do? Spend 24 hours in space or get a really cool hot tub?
24 hours in space. I've always wanted to go.
No, you were doing so well. You were agreeing with me on everything. You're wrong. Explain your space. I'll let you have the floor first.
Okay. I'm gonna change your mind by the end of this.
You won't.
But okay. Um think about literally when I think about I would go on like NASA and look at pictures for like hours. That's another middle school phase I went through where I thought I was gonna be an astronaut. No. But think about you get to go up in space and you can like see Earth. And then like I always like look at pictures like from space where you could see Earth. It just makes me think about how little my problems are or everything going on in the world when you're so high up in space. I
Okay.
just think that would be so cool. And like how many people really go to space? Not that many. How many people
True.
have hot tubs? A lot of people.
True. Hear me out here. Space is 90% darkness. It's just dark with a few little stars there. If you close your eyes and spin around a lot, you're seeing space. That's seeing the exact same thing.
I can't go spin around right now and see Earth and
You can
planets.
Google it right now and say Earth.
Not the same.
But then, okay, that even if it is the coolest experience of all time, after 24 hours, what? You just gonna talk about for the rest of your life? Be like, guys, this was so cool. No one's gonna believe you about how cool it was. No matter what you say, it's not gonna do it justice how cool space is. So you're always like underwhelming. And B, what are you gonna do? Take pictures when you're up there, and then you just have a few pictures of a darkness in the earth with they can Google that. There's nothing to show for it
What are you
after
gonna
the
do in
20.
the hot tub?
Hang out with your boys
Well,
forever.
not everyone's gonna wanna go in the hot tub every night.
You don't have to do it every night, but at least you have this hot tub forever. Space is temporary. Hot tub's forever.
What if it breaks?
So you get a new I'll say this: it's a really cool hot tub. It's a really cool hot tub, and it's unbreakable. It doesn't break. Maybe it has like some weird like fountain stuff. It's like a really cool hot tub, not just like a normal, just like inflatable tub.
Really cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really cool. I stand by my hot tub.
I
Take
stand by
forever.
space. Forever.
All right, fair enough. Well, we can agree to disagree there. You were doing well. You like 90% agreeing with me, so I won't push back too much. All right. So then last question I want to ask you. This is something I ask everyone who comes on here. Again, I appreciate you coming on. This is something you can answer however you want, whatever comes to mind. But what gets you up in the morning?
Coffee. 100%. That's the real authentic answer. I mean, I wish I could sit here and be like, just getting to be alive. No, like it's coffee. Like I love coffee and that's the first thing I always think about. But then, besides that, I get to live. I have a great life, nothing to complain about. So after coffee, that's when, the day keeps going and I get to do whatever I want with it. And yeah, I
That's a
guess
good That's a great answer considering our sponsor, Java House Coffee, promo code GoodTime10, get 10% off, do all that good stuff. So great answer. I didn't pay her to say that whatsoever.
no, no
But
promo.
just shout out Java House Coffee. It's the best coffee in the world. Sorry, one more question. Sell me on MSU because you guys just lost to Indiana in football. And I'm not an IU fan. But that's pitiful. You guys should have a program after losing to IU. IU's atrocious.
Oh, that was horrible.
So
Just
like,
so
are you guys dead? Like football's dead? Is it just move on basketball time?
yeah, I think football's dead. There's really no explanation or excuses for this season's performance. It's bad. And it comes from the coaching too. I mean, love Mel Tucker to death, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna lead a program and then you're gonna lose to Indiana, stuff like that, like just to have a shitty season. I mean, it comes from Mel Tucker at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Love him, but I know he'll figure his stuff out. I mean, this kind of happened to Mark D'Antonio with the previous coach. He wasn't
Mhm.
always, the winningest coach ever, but he had some really good moments. But no, we're definitely basketball school this year. And even though like before going into the season, people would always be like, "How's MSU going to be in basketball this season?" I was like, honestly, not that good. Like we don't have a star player. There's no one really good recruit that we picked up. There isn't like a huge NBA prospect that's like going to go in the NBA after the season. Like it's going to be bad, and I don't know how we're going to be. And then we go out and we lose to Gonzaga by only 1 point. We beat Kentucky. We just beat Villanova. We play Alabama on Thursday or Friday, so we'll see how that goes. But we're having a great season, and we're ranked. We're 12 now,
There you go.
so like it's just kind of one of those things where it's like it's a fun place to be because of Tom Izzo and just how much you can watch him like shape these players and he's going to have a really good year. I honestly think that we're going to perform better than we did last year. And last year we had like Max Christie, who's now playing for the Lakers, like
Mhm.
stuff like that. But other than, the sports side of it, I mean, it's just the best place on earth. Like since I was little, I've gone to basketball games with my dad. We used to have season tickets and I would like, there was one day and I told my dad, I was like, Dad, like there's just some feeling about East Lansing that I can't get away. Like there's something about like something in the air, like something in the atmosphere. And then every time I'm there, even though I'm a full college student, I still have that same feeling where it's like it's home and going there was like a no-brainer and everyone there is just great. Like it's a phenomenal place to go
Yeah.
to school. So
I'll give you it is a pretty nice campus, underrated campus, I think. I've been there. I played tennis tournaments on campus there. The tennis facility was awesome. Their outdoor tennis courts are sick. I'm sure they're pretty similar now. But all right, well, go ahead, let people know where to follow you, where they can find you, what they should check out, all that good stuff.
okay, yeah, my Instagram, all my handles actually are just Marcy Creevy, Marcy, and then Creevy, Creevy. That's my Instagram handle, Twitter, and TikTok. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again for coming on, Marcy. I appreciate it.
yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.